How are you? It's Wednesday night. Let's not procrastinate. Let's stay focused. Woo! Let's go. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your evening with me. I appreciate you more than you could possibly know. Please make sure you put in any comments that you want, any questions that you have, anything that you want to make sure that we accomplish during tonight's discussion. Yes, indeed, Ms. Murphy. Good to see you. Yes, indeed. Treat them right. Treat them right. Most importantly, treat yourself right. Right, Miss Davis in Stone Mountain, Georgia. Miss you in the studio. You must be working hard. Indeed. Miss Talia Farrow is in the studio. Yes, she is. Treat them right. That's the song I came in with, Latanya. Treat them right. Yes, indeed. So let's think about staying focused. Because, to me, like throughout my career, even before I started the firm, Ms. Murphy, even before I started the firm in 1995. Even before that, I was in my 20s and I had distractions everywhere. One thing we know for sure is that there'll always be something else pulling at your attention. There'll always be distractions. There'll always be things that have things that have absolutely nothing to do with your purpose, with your goal, with your ability to generate income and take care of you and your family. They're distractions. Distractions cost the U.S. economy more than $650 billion a year. I hope I can stay yelling the entire time that I do this discussion because I am effing tired of distractions. They lurk around, they follow you around. They are always looking for access into your brain, access into your time. I was talking in a Zoom meeting today, and I was sharing with a member of Afro Economics. I said, I always say that there's no one that's broke without an explanation. Like, if I can talk to a person long enough, it doesn't even take long. I can talk to somebody 5 minutes, and I immediately know why they are broke. You can immediately tell. I know generally have a lot going on, a whole bunch of stuff going on, but accomplishing absolutely nothing, Ms. Mac. You know, so if you go to refusetobebroke.com, my picture pops up. Now that's for my personal self, Miss Fleming. That's for me. So I can go to refusetobebroke.com and I'll pop up because I personally spent too many years, Moses, with distractions. Our success is not about like we didn't make money. Our distractions, Miss Matt, are about the fact that we are not making half of the money that we should be making. Now, when they talk about the number of almost 7 million, Ms. White, 700 billion, I said 7 million, no. 7 million is probably more like what distractions have cost me. At least 7 million. I mean, seriously, I should add it up, but I would be hurt. I'd just be too hurt. So I'm telling you, Ms. White, think about it. Think about the cost. So to the U.S. economy, distractions are costing the U.S. economy at least $700 billion. How you doing, Queen Howard? $700 billion. So, like, what's a distraction? Basically, generally, they're self-imposed interruptions. Overall, your distractions are self-imposed interruptions. Because, New Black World Order, you don't have to pick up the phone. You don't have to check the text. Ms. Lax, you don't have to do that conversation. Like the other day, I got a call from somebody I haven't heard from in years. So I pushed on the phone. I said, please leave a text. Please text me. So she replied and texted me. And the text was like this long. It was a question for someone who is a member of Afro Economics and gets on my calendar. There was absolutely no way that I can respond to her very detailed and long financial question. But I had to realize, I looked at it, look, and Sadie, I looked at it and went on with my day. Because what? I was working on this topic. That is a distraction, Ms. Davis. In the world, they're not a customer. They're not a member. This is not a client. This is no one that has taken the time and the investment and that actually even thinks about believing in God's purpose over my life to serve them financially. But you want to take and you want to distract me from what I'm trying to accomplish in our community? Come on. We have a responsibility to the greater good. You have a purpose. We have that purpose, and it is distractions that are costing us more than the dollar figure, because the person that is supposed to be helped while we're busy, Mr. Jones, being distracted with nonsense, the person is not getting help because you're busy over there doing nothing. Doing nothing. How about someone that doesn't even value you? Yes, indeed, Deborah. Amen. Right back at you. How you doing, Miss Charles? So tired, as you can tell. We have got to stay focused. So look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Woo. So there's an entrepreneur.com has an article, and it talks about how the distractions can stall your success. And they have like five things that they mention on how distractions stall your success. And the first thing is that they stop you from using your time wisely. If you don't use your time wisely, then you become your own enemy. We are our greatest enemy. You waste your time. People go, well, I would have, or I could have, or this one I hate the most. I used to be. Woo! Yeah, Miss Daniel, they want free information. And there's a whole bunch of it out there for them. But if you want something specifically for you, you have to invest in yourself. So time is a huge investment, and you have to use your time wisely. I have to use my time wisely in order to be all that God has asked me to be for you, my time. Because if you're like, one of the biggest compliments a member ever gave me is she said that, JV, what I admire about you is that every time I'm with you, you never seem like you're in a rush to go to something else. And I really get that, Chris. Because there's a whole bunch of people who you go and you try to do business with them, and they are always in a rush. Have you noticed that? I'm just letting y'all know I see you out there. I'm probably going to close it down because of the technology. But I see y'all in the studio, and I really appreciate you that you appreciate this topic. And I'm going to close it back. Don't worry, y'all out there. I should have put Sadie White out there so she could get mad. Girl, don't put me up there. So, yes, Miss Howard. She really made that, because when she said that, JD, you're not in a rush, and you never appear to be in a rush, that means that she knows I have designated time specifically for her needs and challenges at that time. So if you're dealing with a professional that is always in a rush and doesn't have time to address your needs, then it means, Ms. Short Jones, that they have not gotten control over their time. And it is a daily challenge. I want to share something with y'all. Before I forget, I'll get to the end of it. I want to share this. Success is never owned. It is rented. And the rent is due every day. Right? That is true. Success is never owned. What is owned, really? What is owned? Your health is not owned. If you don't take care of your health, what? You got to pay that. You got to pay that every single day I get up. And the first thing that I do is exercise, Dr. Arundel. Good evening, right back at you. I exercise. The rent is due on our success in every capacity of your life. You want a successful relationship? You got to work. You want to have a successful business? You got to work. You got to pay for success every day by putting the distractions aside. And it takes so much discipline in order to do that. Because every morning when I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I want to be at the gym by 6, you would be amazed at how many distractions can happen between 4 and 6. And I think to myself, Ms. Davis, I've been up 2 hours. There is absolutely no reason that I should be arriving to this gym, which is 5 minutes away, late. But because of distractions. But I literally have to get up those 2 hours early because I know that when I get in there, I'm all in. No phone, not even a headset. I'm all in to the athletic experience. You have to get that way about every aspect of our life. That's what we have to do. When it is time for that, now we're talking about things that cause a person not to be successful because they could not stay focused because they had the distractions and did not. And the first one is use their time wisely because of distractions. Robbing them, talking to people at the coffee machine, talking to people, chatting back and forth, or like when, because of COVID, I'll do a lot of work from home doing Zoom meetings. I absolutely never turn on the television. I would like to do a survey one day on how many people turn on the television during the day. I might see the television a couple of hours at night before I fall asleep. That's it. I'm not going to waste my valuable brain time on television during the day. And a lot of the reasons why I don't go into my own office is because I love my executive assistant. And I know if I go in there, I'm going to be talking to her a lot. We're going to talk. So I pack my calendar and I get it all done. And I text her and I'm only 5 miles away from her. But she's there. She takes care of something needs to get dropped off or something. If I have to go in for a meeting, I do it. But a lot of it, I stay because I don't want to be distracted with the great conversation that we always have. But when I go straight to work, when I'm already working, when she gets to her desk, that it's a much more productive day. But so, I mean, and honestly, every day I skip lunch. Every day, like even if I eat, there's no formal lunch. Like, a member told me that they were, like they were coming to Virginia and they live in DC, but I'm having our big meeting at the DC office. Y'all remember this on the 22nd. That's a Friday. our members only, and our business network on the 22nd. But she was talking about coming to Richmond. She comes to Richmond. She wanted to go to lunch. And I thought to myself, I don't do that. One time I told this man, he was like, I would like us to go out to lunch or something to talk about so and so. And I explained to him that I just don't go out to lunch. I just work. And he was so offended that I thought that he was trying to make a move on me. And that's not what I thought. And that's not what I said. And he went into like beast mode. Is nobody trying to take you out and this and that? I just wanted to go out to a lunch. But I was explaining to him, it's a distraction. But I didn't say that. I was just very nice. I was just like, I haven't been out to lunch in a long time. I can't even remember the last time I stopped my work. Because when you do that, you have to drive to where you're going. We're talking about time here. And you have to do that to the meeting and eating it. And then you got to drive all the way back to where your office or wherever you're going afterwards. Y'all feel me on this? Time is the key component to our success. How we use our time. Like Steve Harvey, right? I had to force myself to take a day off. Exactly. I would go 7 days a week. Right. These last 2 Sundays are the first Sundays in like the two and a half years that I didn't do the Sunday at sunrise. But I did that on purpose because I had the competition, the first one, and then this last one, I just wanted to just take care of myself and do something for myself and just relax. And I didn't. But I feel you on that new Black World Order that you can go 7 days a week for years. And I still worked on Sunday because I had an interview with a podcast, Circus Peanuts. I will give y'all more details on that. But I know the brothers out there listening. He's like, she got the name of my podcast all wrong. But it is a very good podcast. He's a great dude doing wonderful things for a long time. But we definitely, even then. So as an entrepreneur, your time and the use of your time really matters. So then you say you love beast mode. I know that's right. A second point out of that entrepreneur.com article about things that come in between our success is lack of focus. Losing your look, losing your vision, losing your image of what your success looks like. The inability to keep your eye on the prize, the lack of clarity is a huge hindrance to your success, financial success, knowing exactly what you want. And a lot of times people start with a clear vision and purpose in mind. Ms. Hawkins, they know exactly what they want at the beginning. But how easy was it for you to lose that focus? If I told you the story about what happened within the first week of me starting this firm in 1995, if I told you that there's very few people who actually would still have made it through the first week. They would have just gone back and got their job back at the investment firm. The first week, I went through some horrific, and I'm not exaggerating, horrific life experiences in the first week of the business. And I still had speaking engagements that first week. I know that Reverend Edlow tells me that he was in the room, when I was telling about what had happened to me the night before. And I still stood up there and did my responsibility and stayed focused on the vision. I clearly saw the vision of what I'm living now. And even 27 years into it, Miss Davis. Yes, indeed, we are overcomers. 27 years into it. Look, don't get it twisted. You still gonna get hit in the head and beat down and done wrong and disrespected. You're still gonna have huge distractions. And the only way that these things happen is because we have opened up our lives to that. You first have to allow yourself to be exposed to it. So I go out of my way to make sure that my circle is extremely small so that you can stay in what New Black World Order calls beast mode and skip the distractions and stay focused and use every minute of your time wisely, because if you don't manage yourself well, you will get jacked up. Yes, Miss Jones, but even now hurts. So the third point of things that happen that hinder our long-term success, that make a difference between just being a millionaire and being a multi-millionaire, is holding yourself back. Holding yourself back and listening to other people's view of you and seeing how other people see you. When you hold yourself back, you have to close the door to being able to do what is impossible. When I wanted to start my firm in my 20s, everybody told me I was too young. You're too young. People won't invest with you. Black people don't have no money. All of the negativity was coming up at me. But they look at me now, and they are, most of them, not in business anymore. And I saw a statistic, and it said in the same article, an entrepreneur, it said that 97% of the people work for the 3% of people that refuse to give up. And I said, well, I'll be damned. I'm in that 3%. I'm in that 3% because I refuse to give up. I refuse to give up. They can put on my casket that she died trying because I refuse to give up. But so many people in the system that we might live in, our surroundings, let's just think about the system that we have created for ourselves. We'll tell you that you're never satisfied. Why don't you just sit down and shut up? And if you listen to that, then you begin to do what entrepreneur.com says is one of the key reasons people miss out on their success, because you're holding yourself back. Instead of holding ourselves back, we have to raise our standards. Raise our standards. I saw myself over COVID getting weaker. So instead of giving up on my resistance and my weightlifting goals, I said I'm going to raise my standards and become a competitor. I said I'm going to do the first competition. And when I did the competition, I was the oldest person in there. And I know that somebody was wondering, why would that grown woman want to push herself that hard and do that squat and do that bench and do that deadlift? Because I want to push myself harder. We are so much more capable of what the little research says that you're capable of. I was telling someone the other day, they were bragging about how successful this person was and what they had accomplished. They were in artificial intelligence and blah, blah, blah. And they were talking about how brilliant their parents were. And I said, well, they're not really that amazing. And he looked at me and he's like, what? That's an amazing person. And I said, no, it's not an amazing person when they are exactly what they should be. If you've had all the resources, all the access, all the opportunities, you are not amazing to me. When you have not had the resources, not had the opportunities, not had the chances, and you went in there and you made it happen anyway, that's amazing to me. That's amazing. The other guy, there's this book that says the same thing. It's called The Outliers. And what he explains is that Bill Gates ain't amazing. He's what he's supposed to be. He was one of the first people ever to touch a computer. What in the world? Yeah, he had access. These people aren't amazing. Look at Tiger Woods. He's not amazing. His dad had money. They were on a golf course from the beginning. I remember when he was a little kid. He was in the ESPN magazine and all this stuff. Like, he's only amazing because they don't know the ability that black people have and what we're capable of. Given the opportunity and the resources, we can do anything. So don't hold yourself back. Woo! And the fourth point that they talk about is your attitude. And some of you mentioned in your comments that you're putting up, avoiding negative people, avoiding negativity, and then avoiding, you can be that negative person. You can be that one. Some of my biggest insults have come from myself. And the other 90% of the insults come from people who say they love me. Right? So we have to make sure that we are careful about what we're surrounded by, what we allow in to our headspace. Because negative people will drain your energy, stop your progress, kick you in the freaking face, and slow down everything that you're trying to accomplish in your life. And the majority of people will quit way before you. And I remember in my last competition, I was looking at these people and they were like just pulling. This one little girl, she was pulling this weight so bad it made me cry. And she said, "Why are you crying?" And I said, "Because I want to push myself that hard. I want something that hard. I want to want something that hard." I was like, do you know how blessed you are to have that ability at such a young age to push yourself physically? Now, I know I've pushed myself mentally and I've pushed myself spiritually, but when you can push yourself physically, every aspect of your life elevates. You can take it. You can take it. But in order to do that, what was it? She was surrounded by the most positive people I'd ever seen. Her mom was just loving all on her. Her dad was like speechless with wanting her to get everything. He was so hurt that she couldn't lift it up. I mean, it was like a major. She was surrounded. I said, little girl, you are surrounded by everything that is needed to be anything you want to be. She was 14 years old. She was the extremely young and I was the extremely old. And me and her were besties the whole time. And I was like, she's like, "Oh, you're so strong." I said, "Yeah, but you're going to zoom past me soon. You're going to do this." But we have to stay around positive people. She was surrounded. If you ever thought, because I think about this all the time, how far I would be if my entire life I was surrounded by people that just believed in me, that I never had to put so much effort into overcoming their doubt. That is probably one of the hardest parts of being Black, because we've been so beat down. So many people that have been beat down put a lot of effort in beating down even their own kids, because they don't want the kids to get hurt. So they tell the kid, "Don't try so hard. Don't do it to you. Don't fail. I don't want you to fail." So then they never take a chance and they never push it hard. And then they never get the muscle failure and they never get all the way maxed out. Kobe Bryant used to say that about Shaq. He was like, "Oh my God, Shaq has the biggest hands. He has the biggest body. He has the biggest everything. Shaq is the man." But if he was focused, and that's I saw a TikTok today. Shaq is so blessed. He's just dancing and everything in the TikTok, But ever since I saw Kobe say that, it makes me look at him different. Like, does he really push himself? Is he everything that he could be that could help me? What if he said something? Look, what if he told me something? You know, I'm just sitting there looking at you and you're dancing and I'm laughing at you. But what else do you have to offer to me? What else could you give to me? Or to the kids that admire you? Or to the grown folk like me that admire you? What else could you give? Are you distracted? So your attitude is very important to your success. And then fear. Fear can motivate some people, but for some people, fear just shuts them down because they don't want to fail. And it's mostly just a fear of failure. They're so afraid that these people that don't even matter are going to see that they failed. It is very important to become comfortable with failure. I have failed over and over and over again, and it's not going to get like easy. You just still have to go for it. You cannot be afraid to fail. Utilize every resource that you have to build up every strength that you have, to correct any weaknesses that you have. You know, focus on what you are doing right and stop focusing on any mistakes that you made. Don't think about like what could go wrong. That's a distraction. And focus on everything that could go right. Right? Don't call attention to your fears. The fears and the obsession over fear will just discourage you. And it'll destroy your confidence. You know, you got to get comfortable with failure. When things wouldn't go right with my daughter, I would tell her, like, that is a very powerful experience for you to go through this, because you need to know that people are not going to always help you. Like when I was at University of Virginia and I said I'm going to the business school, and then the counselor would say to me, well, what if you don't get in? I was like, I'm going to get in. And they would go, look, little black girl from Petersburg, Virginia, what if you don't get in the business school? And I said, I'm going to get in, but let's just say I don't. You don't determine what I do. There's other schools out here, and they shut up. How you gonna tell me what I'm a major in? So, I mean, we have to get that attitude. And I don't even know where it came from. But truth be told, my father, who was the 10th of 11 kids, who was poor, coming from North Carolina, who had a little baby in his hand when he graduated as valedictorian from Elizabeth City State University, and raised 4 kids and got his PhD and became president of 2 historically black colleges. He told me that I could do it. And I did it. He told me that if Snoop Dogg can be Snoop Dogg, I can hear him saying it now, then you can be J.B. Bryan. And I did it. Because I said, I really want to be J.B. Bryan. I don't want people calling me Jennifer because they'll never remember the name of my business. He said, well, then you're J.B. Bryan. And out of that, somehow, people started thinking that I wanted people to think that my business was owned by a man. That's 1995, right? And that was the farthest thing from my mind. I'm thinking branding before branding was a word. And they're thinking I'm trying to hide. I said, how can I hide? At what point do I find this dude that's going to come out and give them the financial advice? That was funny. It was so funny. Then people would go out and do stuff, and they go, okay, well, where's JB? That's funny because that wouldn't happen today. And I think that a lot of people that are starting businesses today have no idea what us pioneers are going through and have gone through. You know, and they don't realize why we were so hesitant. People like me who have been in business forever, to them, were so hesitant to get those lame ass PPP loans that now they arresting people for. And I can't tell you how many people I told, stay away from it. Stay away. And they did it anyway. Well, you got to reap the wrath of that. That's where you look, that's where fear could have paid off. We said, no, I'm not going to do anything that is going to stop me from getting where, because then it just becomes a distraction. Do you know how many people that got unnecessary PPP loans that are now trying to come up with proof of their payroll so that they don't have to pay that loan back? And it also could be, it can lead to charges. Come on. So fear, we want to get into a habit of being fearless, which is the seventh principle of Afroeconomics, the fearless entrepreneur. It's vital. It's vital. So then as we're moving forward, I want some key things. I want to leave you with some key things of how we're going to avoid distractions going forward. We have to create a distraction-free experience. Like I was saying, that I will work. If I know I'm having all Zooms, then I'm not going into the office because the office has more distractions and I can't control the environment. You got the break room, you got the receptionist, then you got your own office, and you got more calls, you got tea and people coming in, bringing the mail and all this stuff, Create your own distraction-free zone. Create your own distraction-free life. Put a fence up around your goals and work that yard. Work that yard, right? Put everything you want into your virtual world in your mind. And if something comes up and it's not in that yard, it's not in your virtual world that you created in your mind, it's not in there, then it needs to get thrown out. Needs to get thrown out. How powerful that would be. What they talk like people that do like vision boards. If it's not on the vision board, it's a distraction. So create a distraction-free zone for yourself, a distraction-free lifestyle for yourself. But you got to be committed to that, right? It says studies have found that distractions happen 64% more often in an open office. And you're interrupted more often in an open office type environment. like you'll see, on the shows when they'll show big wirehouses and everybody, or down on Wall Street and everybody's out there doing something. That's an open office or a call center. It's open. You have to realize if you have a certain number of calls or a certain, when I first became a stockbroker and we would sit in a sea of just all of us just making calls. And it's distracting. Imagine sitting next to someone like me and I'm over there talking and I'm talking all loud. Queen Howard, yeah, we got to do it. I wouldn't talk that loud, but it might seem like that loud. It might to you, but you've got to focus anyway. That's funny, right? But in the opposite. So think about your environment and create it and make sure you create that distraction-free zone out of it. Like, what can you do? Can you try to get a conference room that you can use to make calls sometime? Like, I would do that, and I'd be like, I'm just going to try to get that conference room. Or if it's a really important call, I would just get the conference room for that really important call. And then set up, a second suggestion is to set up at least 3 main, not even more than 3. Let's just say you have 3 main things you want to achieve every day. Set those 3 main goals. Make the list of just these 3 things that you have to make sure that you accomplish. So that after that, because sometimes And oftentimes, and that's why distractions are so expensive, that the three things that you really had to accomplish don't get done. Those three things. So that will show you. But if you just make sure, like, you got to first make sure that these are the three main things that got to get done. Because if you pick the wrong three things, then you jacked yourself up. But the three main things, meeting with client, meeting with client, second, and I would have to group all those together because I have so many meetings with clients. So like, I might have 10 meetings with clients in a day or more. So meetings with clients would be one. They have to come first. They're my priority. You know, one is my health. So my workout, my meetings with clients, and then the third thing that I have to accomplish, I would have to include that. And there might be one person that's not on my schedule that I also need to talk to. That might be the third thing for that day that I have to accomplish. 1, 2, 3. But that wasn't that easy to determine that. But it's very important that we make our days more focused so that you achieve what's important. If not, you could spend 90% of your day on rubbish and only have a little bit of your day left on what really is important, what really feeds you, what really pays the bills. And then a third thought is to, don't think that your day has to go so long. Like, if we make a commitment to accomplishing things more effectively, then you don't have to work till 10 o'clock at night, right? Like, so you might want to shorten it. You might want to say that I only want to work from 9 to 1. 9 to 1 on those three things. And then after that, the other things, from 2 to 5 are the other things. But don't open up that you're going to, that you have all day. And I'm guilty of that. I'm only telling you, I want more for you. I want more for you. But and then you have to turn it off. Like, there's a point where I won't check the phone. I leave the phone in another room. That's when I'm really doing well. And then when I, get up at 4, I have to walk to another room to get to stop it if I don't wake up before the alarm. I have to go and get it. So that's important, to just set yourself up for success and realize that you don't have to have the longest day ever. You know what I mean? And making sure also that sleep could be a major priority because your health might not be in order. So you need to get sleep. Sleep is a vital component. And if you're watching TV, a distraction. If you're talking on your cell phone, a distraction. If you're doing all these things when you should be sleeping, you gotta get that straight. Shorten your day and work more efficiently. And then one key thing is, don't allow your thoughts to just be so wild. Like, focus your mind in your attempt to free yourself, right? Go free your mind, but just focus it. Like, where are your thoughts going? Right? The research says that we spend 50% of our waking time thinking about something other than what we're supposed to be doing. That's from a Harvard study. 50%. So it's like half of the day we're thinking about something that has nothing to do with what's important for you and to pay your bills. So we have to catch it when we go, oh, okay, here my mind is. You know what I mean? You're one, oh, okay, here I'm. We have to catch it. And I'm guilty of that. Free. That's right, Cheryl. Free your mind. And it's really not true, right? But they say that all the time, free your mind and the rest will follow. It's not true. It sounds really good, But when we think about success, like just success, when we're talking about hardcore, we're talking about hardcore success right now. We're not talking about, oh, the super over duper achiever who is just drained. Like, free your mind and the rest will follow. That's cool when we've like overachieved, like, you know, and you're just like, I've done everything. I know I'm not maxing out. So I have to tighten up on my mind. I have to tighten up my mind, refocus my mind. Stop allowing my mind to wonder and worry about things totally outside of my control. And then, you know, if I control my mind, control my thinking, my success will follow. Let's look at it that way. Amen. So then, in our attempt also, it's to like make our mind stronger. A fifth point, to make your mind stronger and allow yourself to effectively use your brain to stay focused. Like, I mean, and I think, you know, like, to think about your discipline and your focus as an exercise, just like when you go and exercise at the gym. You know, and that you can say, I'm going to focus on this for the next 30 minutes. And then and then I'll take a break after the 30 minutes. Try to do that. I can't imagine being able to do something different every 30 minutes. I have like hour and a half meetings. And I have to stay focused in on that client's needs for that entire hour. So a lot of people like get upset because they have a phone call in the call center, you know what I mean? But they have to train their brain that this call is not going to be that long. All I got to do is figure out what she needs, what they need, blah, blah, blah. Oh, your bill is wrong. Oh, we'll make that correction. Okay, bye-bye. Right? Train our brain, work out our brain, wake it up again. You know, and in some situations like COVID, like say people have been out of work for a while and you haven't even been using your mind or using your brain, or your discipline is just done. Like, you've been sleeping in, you haven't been working your brain at all. You haven't been, exercising at all. You know, you have to use this opportunity to realize that you're distracted. And this video is to get you back to your healthy mental, physical, spiritual, financial place that you deserve to be. That you deserve to be. But it's going to take effort. It's just not going to, oh, COVID is over and all of your good habits are going to come back. No, you have to make a daily effort to build and focus your brain again. You can't just sit and talk to your friends all day. We can't just sit and text people all day. We cannot do it. And then for some people, you're going to need to take on more challenges. You know, because I remember being in school and I would talk all the time, just talking. And thank God that my parents were educators. So my father said, I don't think she's challenged enough. Like, I just go around the classroom causing havoc to everyone. And he said, I don't think she's challenged enough, which is something they never really think about, especially with young Black males. When they're acting up in class, too often they kick them out of class instead of thinking, wait a minute, he needs additional challenges. So my dad was saying, she needs additional challenges. So they started testing me. And I did need to have additional challenges. And then, so I don't think really, I didn't feel myself really be challenged until I got to college and I could take any classes that I wanted. But when I went to college, I was taking classes and then working 2 and 3 jobs at the same time while in school full time. And then went to graduate school and did the same thing. Like, if you could be that person like that, and if I did it any other kind of way, I wouldn't have been as effective because I need to be challenged. I have to have that push. I have to have, something that is going to challenge me. So don't feel like, well, I haven't, I'm not where I need to be. You might not be where you need to be because you haven't taken on the complexity of issues that you need to have. You have the mental capacity to do more, but you're not doing it. And so what that does is it allows you to take your mental capabilities and use them on things that are no benefit to you. And you just become what could be seen as chronically distracted. And you can become a chronic distraction to other people. I remember my dad had this friend, and he was so intelligent. He was so intelligent, but he was an alcoholic. But he was so intelligent. They went to PhD school together, but he didn't finish. But he would write. So he was a writer, and he'd write for all these different newspapers. So no matter where my dad was, he would come with a press pass and he would get in. And my father, being like kind of calm, cool, and collective, my Uncle Rogers, will always bring the fun. But my dad said, and had to admit, that the alcohol was a distraction because my Uncle Rogers was one of the most intelligent men he had ever met in his life. But because my father was fully maxing out on what he was doing, but Uncle Rogers was not. And a lot of it could have been because he was black, and he was black. He was a beautiful, dark black man. And in that time, he probably he couldn't do the stuff that we can do now just sitting in our house. Imagine all the stuff that he could have wrote and write, and the lives that he could have impacted today, stuff that people are taking for granted. And then they have the opportunity to do it now, but you don't realize it. Don't cheat yourself. Don't cheat yourself. Don't feel like, that you're unproductive or underachieving, that means that that's where you're supposed to be. Generally, it's not. It's just that you have accepted it. And instead, you need to focus on pushing yourself more and become even hyper-focused on your dream and become hyper-focused on eliminating the distractions, the bad habits, everything that is holding you back, that feels like comfort, but it's just a distraction. And my 7th point and final is to don't allow, your need to get away from a situation to become a distraction. Like, our stress can be so bad that you can do things that are a distraction. Like, you see it, like the person will be a famous, say a famous person, and they'll do something that's illegal because they're trying so hard to get away from the stress of their life and the pressure that they do something, you know what I mean, to get away. So their desire for escape from the stress becomes a distraction. And you see that a lot, right? You're like, yeah. You say you see a lot. But I do see a lot. But don't allow your desire to escape stress to become a distraction for you. Like, turn it into something positive. You need to relax, but meditate. You need to relax, but do yoga. You need to relax, take a walk. You need to relax, have a nice meal. You need to relax, think about the healthy options that we can do to, where what happens, like, just say like people have an affair because their job is so stressful and they find themselves working late at night. And then the next thing they know, they're having an affair with their secretary, and they don't know what happened and how and why did this happen. And now their family is split apart and they can't see their kids and, everything fell apart. But there was their desire, and they don't even realize it. In their desire to escape the stress of their situation, they created distraction and they made things even worse. So don't allow your stress to create distractions. I hope you can feel me on that. You know, that it's a very serious point, and we see that. Like, there's this book called Willpower, and the Willpower book studies highly successful people and when they had like a breach of willpower. When did they fall apart? Why did they break the law? Why did they, lose control in some situations? Even like the Will Smith situation would be a good example for that book. Like, that willpower, like a person who is under a whole lot of pressure is more likely to lose it because we spend our entire day in a place of discipline. So every day you're trying to keep yourself calm. I'm being cool. I'm being cool. I'm being cool. Well, that person who's always being cool is the one that when they lose it, it really matters. Don't let that happen. Don't let your need to relax become a distraction or a toxic situation. Thank you so much for your time tonight. I hope that these helps. I hope this helps. I hope if there's anything that you want to expand on more. How you doing, Miss Hawkins? Thank you, Miss Williams. Thank you, Miss Hawkins. Thank you, Benita. Thank you all for coming in. I wish you would turn your cameras on. How you doing, Chris Williams? I will see you all on Friday. Membership, members only. Know that Afro Economics is a strategic financial management program designed for the advancement of Black wealth in America and abroad. There is a 30-day complimentary membership, and it's called No Excuses, because there's no excuse for not doing something for yourself. So stay focused. Thank you so much, Ms. Short Jones. Yes, indeed. God bless you back. God bless you. God bless you, Ms. Mack. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Short Jones. Thank you, Ms. Fleming. I'm glad that you and Frank are doing great. Thank you. I love you all. Y'all be good. Yes, it motivated me. I'm motivated. Treat yourself right. Come on. Yes, indeed, Franklin Fleming. Treat yourself right.
Kids in the cribs want dibs on the big man. Can he come out?
Thank you, Ms. Davis. Bye-bye.
Number one fan, yes I am. All these kids realize that I'm the man. 6'3",
Thank you, Mr. Jones. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. I mean it. I mean it. Let's shut the noise out. Second level living. Let's do it. Thank you so much, Ms. Hawkins. You're great. Let's do this, y'all. No excuses. I'm tired of half stepping. Full steps all the way. Let's do it. Good night now. Good night. I love you more.